Βρισκόμαστε στο Στρατιωτικό Μουσείο στο χωριό Χρωμοναστήρι στο Ρέθυμνο, ένα πολύ όμορφο και παραδοσιακό μουσείο που εδώ είναι η ιστορία του Ελληνικού Στρατού, μωρόλες, και θα μας εξαναγήσει ο Θεοχάρης Βαρκάς, στρατιώτης, ο οποίος πυρητής στο στρατό και είναι ξεναγός εδώ πέρα. Θα μας μιλάει στα αγγλικά, ώστε αυτοί που δεν γνωρίζουν καλά τα ελληνικά θα καταλαβαίνουν καλύτερα τον αγαπητό Θεοχάρη.
Okay, I am Infantry Private Markas Theocharis, and I will guide you. So this room is dedicated to the Battle of Crete that started in 20 May 1941 and lasted from 10 to 11 days. The Nazis wanted to conquer Crete because of these strategical positions, so they gathered all the special forces they had, mostly paratroopers and mountain hunters.
Yeah.
So in the first display over here, first of all we have a uniform of a German paratrooper holding his standard equipment, a navigation map, a Smasher MP40 which is made out of iron, a typical German hand grenade, and a Luger pistol. By the way, this is the typical German paratroopers helmets. And this uniform, it is a uniform of a German mountain hunter, another special force division of the Germans. This time though they have Mausers instead of Smicers, but they have typical German hand grenades as well. And as you can see in this uniform we have a Greta armband, which is very important because this armband was awarded only to the Germans that survived the Battle of Crete. So imagine how important for them was, what an honor for them was, just to be alive after that battle. Also in this display we have a Smasher MP38, and over there in this display we have two pistols, a PP pistol and a Weller pistol, and on the top of the display we have an MG34 air-cooled machine gun, which was the main machine gun of the German army, very reliable, used them for many years. That's it on this display.
What about these things down there? Down there, what they
These
are?
things are
That's the sack.
the sacks that the special forces of the Germans carried with them. As you can see, other helmets of they used to use to the battlefield, and a parachute of the Germans. And on the top, you can see the parachute they used that was used by the paratroopers.
The white color, what that means for the paratroopers? It was something to do with the medical equipment?
Well, it depends. It had different colors.
That's right.
For example, white was for the paratroopers.
Right.
Red, maybe it was for ammunition.
Right.
Maybe green was for supplies. I don't know what the exact
exactly
color meant, but depending what the color was, it was a different thing.
Yeah.
They had red, they had green, they had yellow. I know that white was for the paratroopers, and I think the red was for the ammunition.
Ammunition.
Maybe red was for food, or for something else.
Something else.
They
Okay.
also used to throw smaller vehicles with parachutes out of a smaller height, of course.
Right.
But I don't know if they were using a specific color in that. Now, moving on to the next display.
Okay, let's go.
In these displays, we have some objects that soldiers and officers used to carry with them. Let's say more personal stuff. For example, we have different symbols that they were using. For example, these are the paratrooper symbols, and this symbol are the symbol of the mountain hunters.
Yep.
This is a flower that only only can live in cold climate, not warm one. So they have as a symbol
Yeah.
to indicate that they are mountain hunters. Another Creta armband, like the other one.
Yes.
We saw
Yes.
German books,
Yeah.
silver German figure,
Yeah.
belts for their ammunition,
Yeah.
a small shovel
Ah, shovel.
to dig for cover.
For cover, yeah.
Yes, this can was used to carry chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yes, every soldier had a little box of this filled up with chocolate because chocolate gives you energy.
Energy for a long time.
Yes, and here they used to have their water.
Yeah.
As you can see, it has a very good quality. It could keep the water cold for hours, even a couple of days. So you can see that the Germans have a very good quality equipment.
What about that thing there?
That thing there was for
Food.
their food.
Food.
For their food. This can, and as I told you, these are the German ones.
I can see here a lot of photos with the German and also Australians. For example, down here. That's the Australian soldiers. I suppose during the Battle of Britain.
Yes, because the Australians they sent a couple of brigades to help. Actually, they were a great help for the Greeks. Also, the New Zealand's help as well. They sent another couple of brigades. They were a big help for the Battle of Crete.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next.
All right.
thing.
Moving on to this display that has.
This remind me Australia.
Yes, exactly. You're right. Here we have objects that belong to Australia and New Zealand, and some British objects. For example, I think this hat.
That's Australian.
It looks Australian.
Yes. The hat. Yeah.
The hat. This is an Enfield, which is British. Symbols of a lieutenant. I think it's Australian as well.
Okay. Yes.
This little bag was used by the Australians, maybe to use it as a med kit to carry some medicines.
Okay.
Here, this is a Wembley revolver, which is also made in Britain. This magazine has for cover. This is a Suda port in Hanya, where the British brigades and the Australian brigades landed.
Yep.
And cans for food. This bottle for their water. A little box for their pills.
What sort of pills they are?
I don't know what kind of pills they were using because they don't have anything right now. They sterilizing tablets, they say.
Probably for the water.
Probably for the water.
You used to sterilize the water before then drink it.
Probably because water in war is very valuable.
Yeah.
So sometimes you had to drink dirty water, so you have to sterilize it first. Cans for food.
Yep.
Another hat, which is
that's New Zealand.
That's New Zealand.
Yes.
Okay.
New Zealand. Yeah.
Redwood, which is cigarettes, and other various of symbols
related to New Zealand Army.
Exactly.
And of course, more photos appear.
Yeah, plenty of photos.
I can see the Germans here outside the big market in Hanya.
Yes, the big market in Hanya.
And next to it is ruins from the town of Hanya, I suppose.
Yeah.
German transport airplanes.
Yeah, all the pictures were taken in Hanya and areas around Hanya.
And around Hanya, okay. And more pictures here.
More pictures here. As you can see, this one, Hanya after the bombardment, a mess, complete mess. Dead British soldiers,
Okay, let's go.
And in this display, some Greek objects.
From the Greek army.
From the Greek army
of that time.
Of that time, yes, sure. And this one is British. We have some British objects as well. For example, this book is in English. We have also a Mannlicher rifle.
Mannlicher, yes.
Yes, which is Austrian, by the way, the Mannlicher.
Okay.
In Austria. A couple of Colts, called pistols.
They are
made in America, in the US, United States of America.
Yeah.
A Greek beret that was worn by army officers. I think this one is for a lieutenant.
Okay.
A piece of Greek press.
Mm-hmm. And the photos on the top there, what they are?
They are.
Yeah,
they're officers of the.
They're probably resistant fighters with the British ambassador in others, I think.
Yeah. Cretan fighter with the British ambassador.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another Greek book.
Okay. The helmet.
A helmet that was used by
the Greek army.
The Greek army, of course. Yes, the standard helmet for the Greek army. A Greek medkit.
Yep.
A water bottle for to carry the water to battle, and a little cup, a couple of bullets, a spork that you can use, a spoon. You see even more.
And more pictures related to the Battle of Crete. Let's see some of them. Cretan fighters, as
Cretan fighters, yes, traditional Cretan fighters. They volunteered to help.
Yeah.
Nobody forced them.
And looks like the British soldiers captured by the Germans.
Yes, British soldiers captured by.
More Germans here. Well.
And in this display, we observe first of all a uniform of a first-year cadet, because also first-year cadets fought to the Battle of Crete. There were a few hundreds of them. 400 first-year cadets fought. The next uniform is a uniform of a second lieutenant of the infantry of the Hellenic army.
Yep.
And next to him, a traditional uniform of a Cretan fighter. You see, that's how they used to fight. They didn't have armor, they didn't have helmets, and usually they used to grab whatever they had, even if it was a rifle or a knife. They wanted to fight no matter what.
Yeah.
And in this final display, a typical uniform of a British soldier. I'm sure you find this interesting.
Yeah.
And a typical uniform of an Australian soldier.
On the bottom.
Yes, this one.
Yeah.
And the final one, it is a uniform of a pilot of the Royal Greek Air Force.
Greek Air Force or yes. British?
Greek.
Greek Air Force.
Greek Air Force.
Okay. What you got in there?
This was probably for ammunition.
Ammunition. Okay. So this is the Australian uniform at the time?
Yes, it's the Australian uniform at the time.
They used to carry a pistol too.
Yeah, they used to carry plenty of stuff with them. All of these was used to carry ammunition, maybe a couple of grenades.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, they used to carry a pistol with them, besides the rifle. This specific one is a Wembley.
Okay. And down there we see a mask.
We see a gas mask. The ironic part is that in World War II, no gases were used, but gases were used in World War I. So when World War II started, everybody thought that the gases would be used again. So that's why everybody supplied themselves with gas masks. But at the end of the day, nobody ever used chemical gases, so gas masks were no use for them. And here we observe some artifacts of that period. First of all, we see to the left an Ottoman Palaska and an Hellenic Palaskas, pistols of that period, and this is a Greek sword that was used by the Navy. This is an Ottoman sword that was used by Ottoman army officers, and beneath it is a Hellenic carved sword that was again used by Hellenic army officers, and this is a common sword that was used by soldiers of that period, and another couple of pistols of that period. Also, we have a head smasher.
Yeah.
That was used for melee combat. Some gunpowder and shots to fill up the barrels of the weaponry. And this little box that was used by the soldiers to store the fat, to oil their weapons, and an Ottoman flag mask ornament that was used on top of the flags. Okay, so in this display, first of all, we have a Browning pistol, which is American, and a Modèle d'Ordonnance, which is French. It is a model of 1873 and was used by army officers only. Another sword that was again used by officers, a Malinger rifle with its bayonet and its magazine. Also here we have a Hellenic fario, a Bulgarian hat that was used by an elite Bulgarian infantry called the Guerrillas,
right,
and a typical Turkish fez. And here we have a Mauser pistol that could also be used as a rifle with a special attachment on it. A Smith & Wesson revolver, and the most interesting one is this one, the Gassen Montenegrin, which was made in Montenegro by the king of Montenegro, who forced his citizens to buy one of these so he can make more money.
So all these weapons were used by fighters in the Macedonian War, 1904.
1904, 1908, yes,
right.
All of this weaponry was used during that period.
Okay. And then we'll go.
Here we have Balkan Wars, 1912, 1913. That is basically the continuation of the struggle for Macedonia.
The freedom of Macedonia, yes.
Yes. This time, Greece allied with Bulgaria, and they also allied with Serbia, Hungary, and Romania, and Montenegro against the Ottoman Empire for the control of Macedonia again. At the end, they won. Ottoman Empire loses the control of Macedonia, and we have the break of the Second Balkan War, which is again the Greeks against the Bulgarians for Macedonia. This time, though, the Greek rebels win again, and Macedonia becomes Greek.
Who was the prime minister at that time?
At that time, the prime minister was Eleftheros Venizelos. Actually, we have a bronze figure of him right here. a bronze figure of him. We also have a Mauser rifle, a Mannlicher carbine, and a Mannlicher rifle.
Right.
Various medals of bravery and heroic actions. And this portrait right here, that is a portrait of Mr. Konstantinos Gerakaris, the leader of the Greek rebels that played a huge part in the Hellenic victory. And we also have some of his personal stuff. For example, we have his belt for his ammunition, we have his personal helmet, and his personal bandages to wrap his feet around in order not to get hurt.
Okay. What about here?
Here we have a variety of medals that were awarded throughout history. The most common one is number 25, which is a medal for national resistance. And the most important ones are these, that they're medals of the Order of the Phoenix. These medals are the highest honor that the Greek citizen can get.
Okay.
So artifacts from World War I, or else the Great War. Here first we observe a Mauser, a Luger, and another Mauser. All of them are made in Germany. And beneath it is the Mosin Nagant, one of the best rifles ever made, they say. That was also used by the famous Russian sniper shooter called Vasily Zaitsev. Here we have a Lebel rifle, which is French. A typical German hat that was used by soldiers. And this little arrow was used by the Germans. They used to throw them out of airplanes.
Airplanes?
Yeah, they used to throw them out of airplanes. They're a bit heavier on the top, and they used to develop great speeds while they were falling. And they used to kill personnel, destroy facilities, armor vehicles, and sometimes it could break even into rooftops and destroy houses.
What about that thing down there?
That thing down there is the British Vickers. It is a water-cooled machine gun. It is very heavy. It weighs almost 40 kilos, and it is water-cooled. They used to open this little tap over here to fill it up with liquids, mainly water, to cool it.
Okay. And the helmet?
The helmet is a German-type helmet we used by the Germans.
We talk about First World War. First World War.
First World War, yes.
Well, First World War. Okay. And here?
And here we have artifacts of the Asia Minor campaign, 1919. Here we have the great idea of Eleftherios Venizelos to expand the Greek borders to Asia Minor, because most citizens there were Greeks, and he also wanted to protect them from the Ottoman Empire. So he sent his troops to conquer Asia Minor, but the Hellenic army was very fatigued and tired of World War I, and the Ottoman Empire easily, to say the least, they easily win a conflict, and in 1922 they founded the Turkish independent state.
What's that cap up there?
That cap is a typical Turkish fez. Next to it is an American Colt revolver. And this is a Lebel carbine, a Mannlicher rifle, and a Lebel rifle. And this is a Greek Evzon Asfario, and a sword of army officers.
Okay. All right, Theochari, I thank you very much for your contribution. I'm sure that the people in Australia, New Zealand, and all over the world, they probably watch this video in the website of Pancreatic Association of Melbourne. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming to the museum and for having the opportunity to tell you all these important things.
Thank you.